fucking animals! You liberal, progressive, deranged fucking animal.
I'm gonna say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. They probably, all the kids of every conservative in the country called panicking. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Then by that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota? Isn't this on both sides?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm asking.
We don't know what condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking
not at all.
You said the Democrats have donated to, but I'm asking,
Democrats own this.
But isn't there a problem with political violence across the spectrum?
Yeah, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. That's the subject of this that we're talking about right now. Democrats own this.
Do this. They are capable of anything. I think that was the message. I believe that was the message.
They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us.
We are now following breaking news about a string of threats at a number of historically black colleges and universities today. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell is following this for us. What can you tell us, Kelly?
Well, Chris, I think this is at this point in the abundance of caution phase, where universities that are a part of the HBU system, the historically black colleges, a number of them in Virginia, also in Alabama, saying that they have received threats and therefore taking action to lock down a campus or cancel classes or send out warnings to students and to the university community. Obviously, just one day after the Charlie Kirk assassination, in an environment where we have seen a lot of gun violence and a lot of acting out of dangerous threats where citizens can be inadvertently involved in a dangerous circumstance. This is the kind of thing where universities, as they assess a situation, make a determination for what is best for their community and to try to reduce the potential for any harm. By locking down or canceling classes, it clearly reduces the amount of foot traffic. It allows authorities to follow through on any leads. We have made outreach to different kinds of law enforcement, from the federal to the state level and local communities, as well as the Department of Education. And at this point, we don't have a sense of where this is coming from or how connected it may be. But the fact that these colleges are feeling they need to take action, and in light of the timing, given yesterday's events on a college campus in Utah, there is a sense of wanting to be prudent and to provide members of the community, students, faculty, neighbors of a campus with warning.
From NBC News, this is a special report. Here's Savannah Guthrie and Craig Melvin.
Hi, everybody. We're coming on the air. President Trump just a few moments ago on Fox News announcing that to a high degree of certainty, they believe they have the shooter in custody responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops.
Alleged murderer of Charlie Kirk has been captured. He has been taken into custody alive. This is 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah, from a Utah family. There was a press conference today after Donald Trump announced on Fox and Friends that they had him. It turns out that he was actually taken into custody last night at 11 p.m. And it happened as a result, we believe at this time, of his own father having notified the authorities that it was his son and about his whereabouts. Now, one of the critical elements that ended up not being true about original reporting from the Wall Street Journal is that bullet casings had pro-transgender messages on them. I'm going to tell you in a moment what the casings did say. I think it's important to say up front that there are lots of people wanting to prove that this was either a left-winger or a right-winger, inspired by hate for Charlie Kirk from the left or inspired by hate for Charlie Kirk from the right. And both exist, although certainly as a right-wing figure, more of the dislike for Kirk is from the left. It's just too early to say definitively, but we're getting some information. I am going to do everything I can in this segment to keep it only to what we know. And one of the things that we now know is what the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, said was on the bullet casings.
The investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
All right. So a few different things there. Of course, if you read this, you're gay, sounds homophobic. Hey fascist, catch, sounds anti-fascist. Notices bulge, OWO, is a reference to like an anime sort of like, oh, this is interesting to me kind of thing. And then Bella Ciao, a reference to the anti-fascist anthem that came from an Italian 19th century protest song that was adapted by Italian partisans during the World War II resistance against the Nazis, against fascist forces. So the big picture here, as we dig in further, and I'm going to come back to this, is that the alleged shooter's family certainly don't look like blue-haired liberals. The family at this time appears to be sort of standard Utah Republicans. Father is former law enforcement, family members in the military. I don't want to use the term gun nut pejoratively, but this is a big gun fan family. I'm not going to publish the pictures. A lot of pictures have been floating around of family members with guns from very early ages. I don't think it's a good idea to start publishing pictures of family members of the alleged shooter at this time, but you can find those, but certainly a family that are big, big fans of guns. Not a minority, not trans, not Muslim, not an immigrant. It is a shooter from, realistically a pro-Trump, pro-gun household. Doesn't mean that those are the beliefs of the shooter. And I'll give you kind of like my best assessment in a moment. We also have this picture of the alleged shooter wearing wearing a Trump costume for Halloween. I'll be honest, I don't know if this is a pro or anti-Trump costume. It's one of these costumes where it looks almost like you're riding someone. It's one of these things where it looks like 2 people, and the alleged shooter is riding on Trump's shoulders. This could be pro-Trump. This could be anti-Trump. Like I'm going to sit on top of Trump or whatever the case may be. I just don't know. We just don't know at this point in time. What I do think is important is that everyone is hoping to see in the alleged shooter's motivations something that will vindicate their personal politics. And while I understand that, I want to remind you that no matter what the motivations are, it's deplorable and condemnable, not because we like or respected Charlie Kirk's views, which I found vile or disgusting, but because if our goal is to reduce political violence and reduce gun violence, we can't ever say some instances of it are cool. And I've made that extraordinarily clear. One kind of strange video from Kash Patel, and this is what happens when you put, a 40-something-year-old conspiracy theorist influencer as head of the FBI. He said something that makes no sense. Listen to this.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops.
Yeah. Of course, we always say great work by law enforcement. But here, Kash Patel trying to put himself at the center of this after the FBI seemed to bungle early moments of this investigation. Remember that we got this guy as quickly as we did, allegedly, because of his own father turning him in. And so Kash Patel jumping in and going, we're so awesome at the FBI. As always, it's the leadership at the FBI that seems politically problematic. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, but the agents at the FBI are a separate entity. On balance, what's the most likely outcome here? I think this appears to be, based on everything that's been confirmed so far. There's a lot of unconfirmed stuff. Based on what's been confirmed, probably some kind of self-described anti-fascist from a Republican gun-loving family.
The Charlie Kirk shooter is not trans. It's not an immigrant or a person of color or any of the premature labels that MAGA gave him before he was even arrested, before we even knew anything about him. But if you went to some of these MAGA influencer pages over the past 24 to 48 hours, you would have thought that they had him all figured out. You know, they were saying it's some blue-haired, crazy liberal who drives an electric vehicle everywhere or whatever crap that they were saying. But they had no idea, and we have no idea. To me, and I'm just speculating here, so take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, it looks like a case of radicalization. This looks like a young man who grew up in a Republican family in a conservative state who had a lot of access to firearms, who found himself too deep in internet culture, going down those dark rabbit holes and becoming crazy and doing something tragic because of that insanity. I don't know if this is left-wing or right-wing radicalization. I genuinely don't know. We don't know. Nobody has any idea yet. Authorities have not said anything about it. But man, what a sad situation. And it's so frustrating to see people in this space, the political space, especially on the right, pretending to know everything about this guy and the motive. Come on, man.
Charlie Kirk didn't deserve this. He said a few deaths a year are worth it if it meant preserving our God-given right to bear arms. He actively fought against women's rights. He's openly Islamophobic and he spreads anti-trans rhetoric. He supported the ethnic cleansing in Gaza and he said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. He called vaccine requirements a medical apartheid and said that empathy is a made-up word. How many children, teens, and adults have died by suicide because of his rhetoric? How many school shootings did he excuse this year? How many women died because they couldn't get access to safe abortions? How many hate crimes happened because of him? Spare me the empathy because he didn't believe in it either. And let's be clear, the only people I have sympathy for are his kids, not his wife. She chose him. She stood by him, she supported him, and she co-signed everything he said and did. She laid in bed with that man knowing exactly who he was. The only people I will feel sorry for are his children. They didn't choose this, and now they have to grow up with the weight of his legacy. Someone said that his daughters didn't deserve to grow up without a dad. Well, they had a dad, and he openly said he would force his daughters to give birth if they were raped. I think they're actually better off without him.
Black women leaders, he called Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sheila Jackson Lee. He said, quote, "You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. You had to steal a white person's slot." He called Martin Luther King Jr. awful and not a good person. He said, "We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. These are verbatim quotes from Charlie Kirk. He said, quote, "If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified." He called gay and transgender people groomers. Said we must ban trans-affirming care. The entire country, Donald Trump needs to run on this issue. When Zohran Mamdani won the Democratic primary, Kirk said, quote, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. He called Islam, quote, the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. Pretty awful stuff. I just, I don't get all this, well.
Jay should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything. Everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide.
Because the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period. Right. And so yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list. Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy to access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.